The character of the forest changes as you descend, becoming ever darker and damper, favouring different kinds of animals and plants. Less than 2% of the sunlight reaches the floor, but even here there is extraordinary variety. In the great island of New Guinea, there are 42 different species of birds of paradise, each more bizarre than the last. This forest is so rich that nourishing food can be gathered very quickly. That leaves the male six-plumed bird of paradise with time to concentrate on other matters, like tidying up his display area. Everything must be spick and span. All is ready. Very impressive, but no one is watching. The superb bird of paradise calls to attract a female. And he has more luck. But what does he have to do to really impress her? She retires to consider her verdict. It's hard not to feel deflated when even your best isn't good enough.
The rainforests of eastern Australia are the stage for perhaps the sneakiest criminals of the lot. This is the satin bowerbird, a creature with a bad case of kleptomania. It doesn't stop at weaving twigs, he likes home decor too. Blue is his favourite colour. Bottle tops nicked from a nearby campsite are his proudest possessions. He has an eye for detail too, placing them precisely for maximum visual impact. She makes all the right moves, entering the bower to show she's interested. A ring makes the perfect gift. Not impressed? How about a bouquet of flowers? But something's not quite right. The penny drops. He's been duped. This isn't a female at all. It's a young male in disguise. And he's here to steal. He's part of a gang of juvenile delinquents roaming the forest, tricking unwary males. In their hideout, they display their ill-gotten gains. It takes up to 7 years for a male bowerbird to reach maturity. In the meantime, they practice making a bower and dancing for each other. But they can never have too many blue trinkets and bling. Time to go out stealing again. And bowers don't come more decadently inviting than this. But this is no ordinary bower. It's occupied by a male spy bowerbird and adorned with an irresistible array of blue treasure and jewel cameras, all perfectly placed to catch the thieves in the act. Like professionals, they approach with caution. Once again, they pretend to be courting females. This time, they work together. One distracts as the other steals the jewels. Spy bowerbird can only observe as they clean out the bower, gem by precious gem. Back home with their stolen goods, they continue to practice their courtship techniques. But Spy Bowerbird isn't off the hook. The male bowerbird who was their first victim needs to replenish his bower. Well, if you can't beat them, you may as well join them.
Ultimately, all of Dauphin's riches are sustained by the sea. And the sea itself is undergoing a radical transformation. Warm surface waters are being dragged away, sucked to the north by the mighty Indian monsoon. An oceanic vacuum is created, and something must fill the space. Cold water wells up from the depths, bringing nutrients from the sea floor with it. Chilled water also holds more oxygen, and more oxygen means more life. As the temperature drops, these seas are transforming into some of the richest in the world. Microscopic plankton flourish, and an explosion of life begins. Fish from every corner of the Indian Ocean have come to feed. Fusiliers, blue triggerfish, and graceful devil rays. Some have traveled from as far as Australia to enjoy these riches. This is why the humpbacks never leave. They don't need to migrate to cold waters to feed. Cold water comes to them. And this bounty attracts one species that arrives not in thousands, not even millions. The Indian oil sardine arrives in billions. A single shoal can be over 3 miles long. By moving in unison, they confuse predators. Rays are too slow. Socotra cormorants struggle to pick a target. But synchronized swimming won't protect them from the ocean's most voracious predator: man. The arrival of the sardines means the Jabali mountain men become part-time fishermen. Over 500,000 tons of fish will be brought in.
Mantids will eat anything that moves, including other mantids. Time to leave. This tiny insect is now open to attack from predators lurking in the undergrowth. Whether an individual mantis survives or not is partly a matter of chance. Whether it's spotted by a predator, whether it turns right or left. So far, its luck has held. But this hungry jumping spider is still in pursuit. A mantis is born with exceptional eyesight, but the spider's is even better. Although this young mantis can't yet fly, its long forelegs, evolved to catch prey, give it reach. There seems to be no escape. But this mantis has a surprising line in self-defense. Kung Fu, praying mantis style. Of course, it's all bluff, trying to look bigger and confuse its enemy. But it's got away with it. Just staying alive for its first few hours is a significant accomplishment for a newly hatched insect. But there's still a long way to go. With a bit of luck, in 2 months' time, it will be as big and beautiful as this orchid mantid. Or maybe not. After all, mantids are cannibals. So now, for this tulip snail, it appears safe to patrol the shallows in search of a meal. But is it? This is a rather bigger kind of snail. At 5 kilograms in weight, the giant horse Conch has little to fear from any shark, and it has a taste for tulip snail. Sensing the approaching danger, the snail flees. But in a world of snail paces, the conch is something of a Ferrari. It calls for desperate measures. Exhausted by the effort of its last-ditch attempt, the tulip snail is slowly gunned down. The tide still has to rise for another hour before the big predators can feed. But out on the flats, the scent of dying snail wafts away on the tide. It's a scent that these hermit crabs are particularly partial to. It's vital that the crabs have the best possible protection from the heavy teeth of the waiting sharks and rays. For that, they need the shell with a perfect fit. Today, there is new real estate on offer, and competition in this housing market is fierce. The action becomes even more desperate when the shell of the devoured snail is ready for release. This crab simply can't wait any longer. But it's a decidedly risky acquisition. The risk paid off handsomely. The new shell is both lighter and stronger than the old home, and it's not a moment too soon, because the tide is flowing in strongly, flooding the plains.
Finally, we get to water. Oh, it looks beautiful. That's all right. So I've met up with Hossam Helmi here, who's well, you're a pioneer, really, of diving in the Red Sea, aren't you?
No, actually, we started here 20 years ago.
And how many times have you dived in the Red Sea?
The last time I counted, that was 5,000. That was 7 years ago.
Hossam's dive centre was one of the first resorts on this section of coast. He took me out to see the coral reef that flourishes on his doorstep, thanks to the warm tropical waters. But even out here in the boat, there was no escaping one of the many Egyptian officials following us around. Would you mind asking our police guard if he knows how to swim?
لو نزلنا المية هتعرف تسبح ولا حاجة ولا البحر مفيش؟
He doesn't know how to swim. See, we're going to have to look after him then. We'll have to protect you. Come on. Coral Reef is one of the greatest treasures of the tropics region, existing almost entirely between the Tropic of Capricorn, the southern border of the tropics, and here more than 3,000 miles north of that line on the Tropic of Cancer. It was a thrill to find such diversity of life down here, suggesting that this reef is in good health. I think it's incredible, I really do. You said it's like being in an aquarium, and it's true.
Because it's virgin. Nobody dive here, nobody fish in this area. No damage happened to the reef or to the shore, nothing.
Conditions in the Red Sea are especially good for coral reef. It's relatively warm and shallow here compared to the large oceans. And the coral is nourished as rain washes minerals and nutrients into the water from volcanic mountains around the sea. Around the world at the moment, coral reefs have been taking a battering, you might say. They've been suffering a lot from climate change already.
Yes.
How important is it that we protect the reef and preserve the ecosystem that's down there?
Actually, I believe that the Red Sea, the marine life exists on the Red Sea. It's not exists anywhere else. It's a treasure, and we have to save it, not for ourselves, for our next generation.
In Papua New Guinea, the bowerbird has lovingly rebuilt and redecorated his bower. Another visitor. This time, it's a female. This is just where he wants her. Time to begin the show. First, he expands his pupils alternately. It's an oddly mesmerizing display. A spot of limbering up, accompanied by a weird and wheezy call from deep in his throat. Now it's time for his grand performance. He waves his wing like a matador's cape. She appears to be transfixed. This is certainly eye-catching, but it seems he needs to do more. Generously, she drops him a hint. It's the bird equivalent of a bouquet of flowers. It's all going so well, it's time to get physical, with a few headbutts to her chest. One final flourish to cap weeks of effort. But something's wrong. His rival is back, and at the worst possible moment. What should he do? For the female, the moment has gone. Sometimes, whatever you do, things just don't work out. But most of the creatures come together for a very different reason. to breed. The giant cuttlefish, the largest of all cuttlefish. They live for just 1 or 2 years. Now, as the Australian summer draws to an end, they have one last act to complete. To find a mate. But there are over 100,000 males competing for the arriving females in this one bay. Among them, a giant, a true Goliath. He probably weighs about 10 kilos. Bands of color sweep across his skin. That's how cuttlefish communicate. This smaller male couldn't possibly take him on. Beside Goliath and under his protection, a female who has just mated with him. But other rivals are still interested. It seems a small male wouldn't stand a chance. The female is now displaying a white stripe along her side nearest Goliath. It's a clear signal that she no longer wants to mate with him. It's all the encouragement that the little male needs. He's going to have to use trickery. He tones down his colors and tucks in his arms. He's just the right size to mimic a female. Goliath is deceived. The small male now displays a white stripe, just like the real female, to deter his advances. He slips beside her, and they mate. By mating with multiple partners, the female ensures the greatest genetic diversity for her young. The sneaky male leaves, his final act complete. So even among giant cuttlefish, it seems, it's not all about size.